Part 7. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 61. Nangong Win, what is your identity? Suchanga murmured in his mouth. Although he was very strong, his understanding of the secrets of heaven and destiny was very superficial. Nangong Win was like a mist in front of him, and he could not see her clearly at all. Life experience. But no matter how mysterious Nangong Win is, she is still the mother of the child. There is no doubt about this. Resources needed by Chaos Body. Suchanga looked at the treasure map in his hand. The one with the earliest opening time shown above is actually in the south. Alas, I have to go out for a run again, but for Xiao King Xiao, it's worth being a little tired. Suchanga smiled, put the treasure map into his storage ring, and then went to sleep. Anyway, he will become stronger when he grows up, and there is no need to practice at all. Then he will find time to read about alchemy and weapon refining to deduce the secrets of heaven. Just learn the secrets and you're done. The next day, early morning. The rising sun in the early morning shines on Duantianya, as warm as a fairy tale world. Suchanga was holding a thick ancient book and studying it. Looking at the title of the book above, it is clearly Basic Weapon Refining Encyclopedia, an entry-level weapon refining book. His brother Su actually practiced cultivation. Long Yu just flew up from the Duantianya underground, his eyes were full of shock. How many years have passed? She hasn't seen Suchanga practice, and now Suchanga has started to study the skill seriously. It's outrageous. Is it possible? It must be that the female devil hit Brother Su last night. Brother Su, there's no need to do this, take your time. A touch of tenderness flashed in Long Yu's eyes, wanting to comfort Ying that he loves Suchanga. But then he saw the title of Suchanga's classic book. Basic Weapon Refining Encyclopedia. The corners of Long Yu's mouth twitched slightly. I don't know why Suchanga would read this low-level entry-level work on weapon refining. Even if she comes to see this thing, she can learn it in half a day, let alone Brother Su. Long Yu, what's wrong? Suchanga raised his head and said with some confusion. Why is Long Yu always spinning in front of him? Brother Su, last night. What happened last night? You weren't exhausted last night, were you? Suchanga was a little confused. But after thinking about last night, Nangong Win wanted to cheat on her, but her strength was no longer what it was before, so she easily completed the previous hell training. So Suchanga ordered nod. Last night was fine, I wasn't tired at all. Ah, so envious of Nangong Win. What's there to envy? She is number one. And, you made too much noise last night. If you hadn't set up a barrier, Duantianya would have been destroyed by the impact. Brother Su is so fierce. Suchanga was a little confused. Do you believe me when I say I was practicing swordplay last night? Alas, as long as Brother Su is happy, I will not give up. I will definitely get the number one spot on the list. Long Yu waved his little fist to cheer himself up. Suchanga was helpless. He sighed and continued to read the basic weapon refining book in his hand. He felt that although he was lazy, he must have good talent. If he learned alchemy and weapon refining, he would be able to personally create a spiritual weapon for his good daughter in the future. Or is it an imperial weapon? Anyway, there is something to learn. By the way, by building a study room the facilities in the home will gradually become more complete, and it will become more and more like a complete home. Suchanga smiled. Using the spiritual power in his hand, he expanded the courtyard in an instant, and then built a hall on an open space. This hall will be used to store books in the future. The current courtyard is not as good as it is more appropriate to call it a mansion. Each of these buildings built by Suchanga with his spiritual power is full of design beauty, and it will make people unconsciously marvel at the look. Put all these books in. Suchanga thought for a moment, and then poured all the books in the storage ring on his hand into the hall. Then, under the influence of spiritual power, all the books automatically fell on the bookshelf. On the bookshelf on the other side there are countless jade slips, and the jade slips are relatively high-end exercises. Further on the bookshelf further down, there is a return to paper. It's just a page of emperor's scripture that exudes a faint golden light. The entire library was in chaos. The classification is also very irregular. For example, there is actually a book next to the advanced weapon refining method, postpartum care for sows. Ahem, why are these books in such a mess? Suchanga didn't know how many books he had. Anyway, these things were snatched from the hands of various supreme beings. Xiao King Xiao? Little Linger? Come here, my father will give you a mission. Suchanga called. Soon King Xiao ran over, and Linger sat on Su King Xiao's shoulders. What's wrong? I'm practicing. Su King Xiao puffed out her mouth, feeling a little unhappy. My father has helped you find an exercise task. Once completed, your body and consciousness will make a qualitative leap. Suchanga smiled slightly and gave it a try. What? Su King Xiao was puzzled. At the same time, she had some vague expectations. Although she and Suchanga often quarreled with each other, she knew very well that Suchanga's strength was very abnormal. Even at her peak, she was not good enough for Suchanga. So Su King Xiao's attitude towards any issues Suchanga mentioned about spiritual practice were very serious. You tell me first whether you want to do it or not. Tell me what it is first. You speak first. As long as it's not too boring, I can do it. Don't worry. Definitely not a boring thing. Little King Xiao will definitely like it. Then let me try. Su King Xiao looked at Suchanga, who was swearing, and always felt something was wrong. Moreover, a new hall has just been built in the courtyard, and the courtyard has also been expanded. Is it to make myself do hard work? If you let me work as a coolie to repair the house, then I will definitely bite you to death. Su King Xiao warned. A black line flashed across Suchanga's forehead. Is being a father like a contractor? Damn it. Don't worry, it's not. My father built a special hall to store the books my father accumulated in those years. Hearing this, a flash of excitement flashed in Su King Xiao's eyes. The most important things for a monk, the most valuable things, are nothing more than two things: cultivation techniques and spiritual treasures. And in this hall, all of them are cultivation techniques. Su King Xiao has already, he's getting excited. Good stuff, good stuff. Especially the skills accumulated by his dad. This cheap dad's strength is boundless. Okay, King Xiao agreed. What do you want King Xiao to do? Su King Xiao smiled sweetly. Linger also, belch. Linger also helped Sister King Xiao do it together. Little Linger also replied crisply. The silly hair on her head was fluttering in the wind, which was very cute. Good. She is worthy of being her father's daughter. Suchanga smiled. That's great. Free hard work. If he had to sort it out by himself, it would still take some time. Su King Xiao and Linger came to sort it out and get some exercise. If they see any books, they can directly take a look. In addition to those messy books, there are also a lot of miscellaneous unofficial histories. There are even many records of ancient secrets. There are also countless imperial scriptures and secret methods. It was enough for Su King Xiao to benefit a lot. Dang dang dang. King Xiao, Linger, this is your mission. Sort these books into categories. Suchanga pushed open the main hall at once. Then he introduced Su King Xiao and Linger. The two little girls were both stunned. The task of the two of them is to organize these books. But there are too many books in here. A magnificent hall, filled with bookshelves and divided into 3 floors, there is a restriction on the entrance to the second floor, and they cannot enter. Outrageous. So King Xue did a rough scan and found that there were millions of ordinary classics alone. These are ordinary books, and this is your mission. Suchanga smiled slightly. He took the exercises recorded on the jade slips and most of the imperial scriptures to the second and third floors. So King Xue and the others only need to classify the books below. The most important thing is that among these books are some fragments of the imperial scriptures, or jade slips recording secret techniques. Just think of it as reward for the two little guys. Anyway, he can know what the two little guys have learned at any time. So much. So King Xue was a little confused. She picked up a book and Postpartum Care for Sows. Dad, you don't have a pig demon lover, and then you have an illegitimate pig demon child. So King Xue curled her lips. Suchanga's hands shook with anger. Girl. Who the hell would have an illegitimate child with a pig demon? Damn it. Why do those Forbidden Zone Supremes have such books, girl? When he returns to the upper world, he must find that guy and beat him up. By the way, which supreme person snatched this book from you? No matter what, if you beat them all, you won't miss it. I won't do it, there are too many of these things. Reject. Firmly refuse. So King Xue's head shook like a rattle. Even if So King Xue died today. If she jumped from Duan Tianya, she would never do such hard work. Hey, what is this? Linger held the postpartum care book for sows that So King Xue had just taken. She opened it curiously and looked at it, but found that there was an exquisite jade slip in the folder of the book. So she held the jade slip and exclaimed curiously. Linger, this is a jade slip, open it and take a look. So King Xue was a little curious. Linger, take a look, it's called Jumiji, which means me. Linger's eyes were full of confusion. What is the secret word, and what is the ninth secret? The world is full of too many words that he doesn't know, and she only knows Lingju. With this in mind, Linger calmly took a sip. So King Xue was dumbfounded. I quickly ran over to sort out the books. This is so cute. Ninth secret. Just put it together with the postpartum care of sows. Prodigal dad. Why, didn't you just say you wouldn't do this hard work? I regretted it. So King Xue smiled awkwardly, her face turned red. Damn it. I did this again. Although I was teased by my father, but so delicious. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 62. You guys do it slowly, don't rush, but you have to go out in a few days. Suchanga smiled and rubbed So King Xue's little head. In a few days, the first ruins will be revealed. I don't know how Nangongwen got this treasure map and the date marked on the first ruins. It turned out to be 800,000 years ago. That's outrageous. He is only in his 20s. 800,000 years, it's unimaginable. I know, leave these books to me. So King Xue waved her little hand, then entered the main hall directly and began to rummage through the books. You're so good, Linger, please help your sister. Learn the jade slip slowly by yourself. Why doesn't Dad teach Linger? I mean, Linger feels that her talent is not very good and she might not be able to learn it. Linger frowned and tilted her head slightly, feeling a little unsure of herself. After all, she was just born. It's Versailles, Linger. Suchanga slapped his forehead. Damn it. Holy Spirit, you are the one. If you don't have this talent, then 99.99% of the people in the spiritual world are useless. What is Versailles? Linger didn't know that her father always said some weird things. Linger frowned. After thinking about it for a long time, he didn't know what it meant. He simply took out the wine gourd and drank it. Little drunkard. Oh Linger, don't worry about Dad, come on, Come on. Sister will help you find good things. Su Kingsyu greeted, and with a confused look on her face, Ling rushed into the countless bookshelves again. Each bookshelf was densely packed with books. For Su Kingsyu, these books are treasures. 9. It's so easy to just throw it in here. Sister, slow down, Ling can't fly fast. Ling was dumbfounded. Su Kingsyu was moving rapidly, and at the same time a book in her hand was picked up and put down, just like a brushing machine. Ling was shocked for a whole year. Is Sister Kingsyu reading so fast? Ling murmured. I feel even more like a person with poor talent. Woohoo. Ling has to work hard, Ling has to catch up with Sister Kingsyu. Then Ling started to pick up a book and read it carefully. He stood up and started using his little head at the same time, trying his best to understand the contents of the book. Where? Su Kingsyu searched frantically. She picked up each book and quickly checked it. If there was no jade slip, she put it back directly. In this way, the speed was 1,000 times faster than Ling, who was concentrating on reading. Ridiculous. Sister is so awesome. Ling read more than a page and was immersed in it. When she raised her head, she found that Su Kingsyu had read an entire bookshelf. Shocked. Su Kingsyu didn't care how Ling misunderstood it. She is the sister anyway. It just establishes the prestige of a sister. In the courtyard, Suchanga made a recliner and lay on it leisurely, holding a basic weapon refining collection in his hand, but with his eyes closed, fell asleep. Brother Su, no matter how deeply you study this basic weapon refining encyclopedia, you still can't refine high-grade spiritual energy, let alone the subsequent sacred and imperial weapons. Long Yu is really confused. Why does Suchanga keep reading the basic weapon refining encyclopedia? It shouldn't be. Even if Brother Su has never learned to refine weapons, he can learn it easily. How long have you been reading this? Brother Su. Brother Su. Long Yu was a little confused. He walked to Suchanga, squatted down, and then touched the book in Suchanga's hand. There was no reaction. Could it be, Brother Su is asleep? The bad thoughts in Long Yu's heart suddenly arose. Brother Su? Brother Su? Long Yu tried calling twice, and then gently moved the book in Suchanga's room. Then he saw Suchanga, who was sleeping. So handsome, and so charming. Long Yu's face turned red instantly. But his eyes were full of determination. She couldn't bear to let the child trap the wolf. Today, she was going to gain points on the wave song chart. Then Long Yu gently touched Suchanga hand. Add 10 points to the long song list. Points plus 10. Add 100 points. Add 1000 points. Long Yu's face was full of joy. It's so cool. It feels like pulling wool. While Brother Su was sleeping, he directly took advantage of it. It's so cool. Long Yu suddenly seemed to have thought of something, and gently he bit his lip, and then, to Suchanga's lips. Li Zaqian is the devil. Suchanga suddenly opened his eyes and looked at Long Yu, who was pouting at him. He was shocked. What's going on? He just wandered to the ruins that were about to be born and looked at them for a while. He planned to visit some places beforehand. When I came back, I saw Long Yu trying to forcefully kiss me. Damn it! I almost let Long Yu succeed. Why don't you come back later? Ahem. Ah! Long Yu screamed, and his entire face turned red from his ears to his neck. At the same time, a faint pink color appeared on the top of the dragon horns on his head. It was very cute and charming, making people want to touch the dragon horns. Why? Wake up! Damn it! I almost got 100,000 points. Although Long Yu feels ashamed, it's more of a pity. But this time it can be considered a big gain. I was negligent. I should have created a barrier to protect myself. Otherwise, although my body would not be hurt, I would be easily taken advantage of by women. The corner of Suchanga's mouth twitched. Misstep. With his strength, his physical body is already so powerful that it can automatically form a restriction. Even the Supreme Being sleeping in the restricted area cannot break his defense at all. That's why he seems to have no intention. Lung abandons the body and wanders around the world. But I never expected it. My body is so attractive. Suchanga sighed. He continued to lie down and read the basic weapon refining encyclopedia. Long Yu opened his fan with a snap, then consciously stood next to Suchanga and fanned Suchanga. The points are increased by 300. Long Yu was overjoyed. Looking at the points and nouns on the Changa list that kept jumping, he was so happy. They made a mutual agreement to put aside their grudges for the time being and win together Suchanga, and the first place in the Changa list from now on, he will be the boss. Who doesn't want this kind of status? Why are you so diligent? Suchanga was a little confused at first, but after thinking about Long Yu's dog-licking performance last night, he was no longer confused. He was reading a book by himself and enjoying the breeze from Long Yu's fan. Use the sacred mountain and river fan to fan Brother Su. Brother Su will definitely be very moved. Long Yu secretly laughed in his heart. Then he fanned even harder. He won the first place on the list. It doesn't matter that Nangong Wen is great. He is very particular about pursuing boys for a long time. When he thinks about being able to become Nangong Wen's boss in the future, Long Yu's mood is filled with excitement. A burst of excitement. It feels so good. Just thinking about it makes me feel good. At the same time, a heavenly palace in the upper world is located above the clouds, extremely luxurious. In the heavenly palace, several women gathered. At this time, they were staring at a huge list in trance. I saw Long Yu's name on the list beating rapidly, jumping directly from the original 15th place to the 2nd place. Second only to the super devil Nangong Wen. Isn't Long Yu not in the upper realm now? Zia was wearing a moonlight white dress. Her temperament was extremely elegant, but her face was anxious and a little panicked. The change in the long song list means that someone has already started to take action. Ah! A flash of light flashed on Zio's unparalleled face. Unwilling to give in, the Moon Palace's sect rules prohibit you from going down to the lower realm easily, so she can only watch from the upper realm. Yes, Long Yu has gone to the lower world, and besides Chang Ji having a daughter with that demon king, he also has an extra daughter inexplicably. Next to Zio is Huang Jug in a fiery red dress. Huang Jug is also frowning at this time. She is now third on the Changa list. She has been stepped on by the bastard Stinky Dragon. And there was just a gap of one person, which Huang Jug couldn't accept. What should we do? We have no way to go down to the realm. The sect's rules are very strict, unlike the True Dragon clan, which has no rules at all. Zio sighed, her eyes full of envy. She was so envious of Long Yu. It was so easy to meet the person she missed day and night. Not as good as us, going down to the next world together? United for now? Anyway, we still need to unite to fight against the big devil in the future. Now try it in advance and unite with the lower realm. Huang Jug frowned and looked around anxiously. She no longer had the majesty of the goddess of the divine Phoenix clan. You must know that Huang Jug usually has a hot temper. Forget it, let me find a chance to go down to the lower world. Although the divine Phoenix clan has many rules, they are much more open-minded than you old bastards from the Moon Palace. Huang Jug complained directly about Yugong. But Zio actually nodded in agreement. That's right. Those elders in Yugong are so stubborn that they still adhere to the family governance philosophy of 100,000 years ago and do not allow romance. Don't give in, don't let me talk to men easily. Zio doesn't care. She is about to fall in love with Suchanga. Okay, then Huang Jug, just find a chance to go and have a look, I miss him so much. Zia felt a little uncomfortable. Why am I not? Sisters, we are now comrades on the same front. Huangjug hugged Zia gently and comforted her. Damn it! Originally, she could easily go down to the lower realm, but she didn't know that Suchanga was hiding in the lower realm. Now that she knows that Suchanga is in the lower realm, she ended up going to the lower realm. News of a demonic figure suddenly appeared in the world, causing the entire clan to be under martial law and strictly prohibited from going down to the world. Huangjug felt that Nangong Wen was the cause of this demonic turmoil. What a terrifying woman, worthy of being number one on the list. A flash of fear flashed in Huangjug's eyes. She once saw the woman with the bronze mask. There is no doubt that she was completely defeated. They are not opponents of the same level at all. By the way, Huangjug, you said Brother Su has an extra daughter, so why doesn't anyone on the standings have a sudden increase in points? Could it be, is there a new tough guy? Huangjug and Zia looked at each other and became confused. That's right. Logically speaking, if you give Suchanga a daughter, your points should be increased by 10 million. Even if you can't defeat the big devil on the list, he should be able to rank second on the list. But now, Long Yu, who is second on the list, only has more than 1,000 points. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 63. Find out who this baby belongs to. Huangjug frowned. They are such competitors, they have finally managed to balance themselves out, and they will never allow anyone who can break the balance to appear again. This baby's mother is probably also a peerless warrior. But, how can the two of us search for it? I don't know how to deduce the secrets. And even if we deduce the secrets that Brother Su deliberately blocked are beyond our reach. Zia frowned. She felt that there was something wrong with Huangjug's behavior. Fair competition. Using the secret deduction technique is cheating. The most important thing is that she doesn't know how to perform the secret deduction at all. Humph, it's impossible to go to Fang Juling from Tianji Pavilion anyway, that guy is too difficult to get along with. Huangjug snorted. As a very arrogant phoenix, she has many rivals in the cultivation world. Fang Juling from Tianji Pavilion, Long Yu from the Dragon Clan, the super devil Nangong Wen, and many small shrimps. She doesn't care about fish at all. Check it out. I'll check it myself. Huangju's palm flipped slightly, and a disc-like white jade appeared. But inside the white jade, there was a fiery red mark burning. Sacred weapon. The Immortal Phoenix Disc. It has the effect of deducing the secrets of heaven. But it requires a lot of money. The vitality of the divine phoenix. However, Huangjug didn't care. The vitality he consumed could be replenished by going back to the sycamore tree and sleeping. You are crazy. Huangjug. She will reveal her true colors sooner or later, there is no need to rush. Everyone in Zia was dumbfounded. In order to find out who that person was, Huangjug actually used a sacred weapon. Although the name is very noble, this sacred weapon actually has nothing to do with the immortal phoenix, the ancestor of the immortal phoenix clan. It was just imitated by an ancestor from the holy realm in the clan. But its power was terrifying enough. You have no idea how much I like him. Check it for me. A flash of fiery love flashed in Huangjug's eyes. Then he activated the phoenix disc of the immortal god and began to deduce the fate of heaven. Then, a flash of surprise flashed in his eyes. Found it? That new competitor is a fiery red stone. Huangjug was stunned. Zia was also confused. People are stupid. When did Brother Su become so awesome? You can actually give birth to a child with a stone. Their eyes met, full of shock and surprise. If you give her a name, it should be called Huo Lingzhu, and then. Then what? Then there is no more, she has no intelligence. Huangjug swallowed. That's outrageous. By the way, Nangong Wen is also as cold as a stone. Do you think Brother Su likes this kind of stone? Also a possibility. Then Huangjug and Zia had a discussion. Duan Tianya. Suchanga finally hid his sleepiness and read this basic weapon refining book. Well, for a person who can become stronger just by lying down, reading a book seriously is like killing him. Brother Su is great. I finished reading this book so quickly. Long Yu was cheering Suchanga on the side. In fact, he was confused in his heart. Suchanga actually watched for 5 hours. She fell asleep as many as 15 times in the middle. It's outrageous. She was a little tired from fanning her. After all, constantly urging the mountain and river fans to maintain a comfortable breeze consumes a lot of money. The clearing of the snow was quite exciting. As a father, you can't be idle. Let's create a spiritual weapon first. Suchanga suddenly became interested. He is already ridiculously strong, but refining weapons and elixirs is a completely new field for him. To put it bluntly, it's so cold at high places, so lonely when you're invincible. It's great to have something for him to learn from. Brother Su, what kind of spiritual weapon do you want to create, an offensive or auxiliary one? Or it may be a growth type, but the growth type is difficult to control. Long Yu patiently introduced to Suchanga. After all, she is also the genius of the dragon clan. She is proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, and is not bad at refining weapons and alchemy. She can also deduce even the secrets of heaven. What type? Suchanga was a little confused. He suddenly wanted to try what it would be like to build a barret in a fantasy world. It felt so good to imagine it. It just fulfilled his dream in his previous life. It's the type of spiritual weapon. Could it be that Brother Su wants to create a holy weapon that is more than a spiritual weapon? There is no type for that thing, but... Long Yu hesitated. I don't know whether to tell Suchanga that the sacred weapon is very difficult to make. Each holy weapon starts as a growth-type spiritual weapon. It accompanies its owner in battles in all directions, and it takes thousands of years of bloodshed to become a holy weapon. As for the imperial weapon, it is even more terrifying. It must be refined by the great emperor, and it is also closely related to the legendary avenue. After thinking about it carefully, Long Yu decided not to say anything. It's not good to break Brother Su's confidence, she just needs to work hard silently. Always a liquor. Then let's get started. The first step in refining a spiritual weapon is to find the right materials and cultivate the prototype of the spiritual weapon. Suchanga searched for a while in the storage ring. Then he poured out the materials all over the floor. These are all the materials that can be used to refine weapons. Fortunately, he divided the contents of the storage ring last time. Classification, otherwise it's really hard to find. Wutong Sacred Tree, Jushan Jade Liquid, Dragon Transformation Pond Marrow, Tianqian Beiyu. And the Mother Spirit of all things. A large pile of peerless treasures fell to the ground. Long Yu's heart was bleeding when he saw it. This is a good thing that even the emperor would grab. Why does Brother Su have so many? That's about it. I don't know if it's enough. I heard that you have to try many times to refine a weapon for the first time, so you will use up a lot of materials. Suchanga murmured to himself. Then he wanted to get some more materials. Long Yu felt homesick after hearing this. So many materials were used to refine the weapon for the first time. As long as it was damaged once, she felt her heart bleeding. So precious. That's enough, Brother Su. Enough. Long Yu quickly dissuaded Suchanga, who wanted to set off to look for him. Ah, that's okay, let's try it first. Suchanga looked at the panicked Long Yu, sat down on his own, and then began to think. Barrett must be able to lock down the enemy's energy, so he needs the Tianqian Beiyu, a powerful actuating device, which can use the mother energy of all things, and an indestructible bullet. Suchanga murmured. Long Yu was completely dumbfounded. She didn't understand what it was at all. What is Barrett? Now we are short of bullets. The bullets have to be extremely strong. Correct. Suchanga suddenly ran into his room, then raised the foot of his bed and took out the dragon-patterned black gold. This thing is a natural bullet material. There is no need to design it in a streamlined shape. With the blessing of the Mother Chi of all things, the terrifying impact is estimated to be able to penetrate the saint's body in one go. Boss. You finally remembered me. Oh, I have endured a whole day without purifying impurities. Dragon-marked black gold cried. She was so touched. She thought she had been forgotten again, and then she put it at the foot of the bed as a stone to support the foot of the bed. Unexpectedly, Suchanga came to see her. Moved by dragon-patterned black gold all year long. It will be of great use to you later. Suchanga smiled. Ah, good master, it all depends on the master's instructions. Dragon-patterned black gold didn't know why, but he felt a little scared. Then Suchanga began to refine the Barrett he dreamed of in his previous life. He said it was Barrett, but in fact he had only played it in the game. The reality is that it is specifically he doesn't know what it looks like. Anyway, this is a fantasy world, so just do whatever you want. Tianqian Beiyu builds the body of the gun, and the barrel is larger. This dragon-patterned black gold is too fat. Suchanga murmured, and started refining weapons for the first time in his life under the curious eyes of Long Yu and Long Wenhagen. I'm not fat. Dragon-marked black gold wants to cry. Use her to refine an imperial weapon quickly. Please. She wants to be a weapon spirit. In fact, her original weapon spirit is a very perfect character, Black Dragon's sister, but now it has not manifested at all. Can't come out. She has to be refined into an imperial weapon before she can be manifested. But this guy, always use her as a foothold. Please. What is refined this time must be an imperial weapon. Dragon pattern black gold prayed in her heart. If it weren't for the imperial weapon, she might have to step on the foot of the bed again. Just stuff the mother energy of all things into it, it's easy to control, and then there are the bullets. Suchanga used a little spiritual energy to refine the Tianqian Beiyu into a mighty gun. At the same time, he roughly stuffed the mother energy of all things into it. Then he grabbed the dragon pattern black gold. It can't be stuffed in. Even if you deliberately enlarge the barrel of the gun, you still can't get in. You're too fat. A black line appeared on Suchanga's forehead. He looked at dragon-marked black gold with evil eyes. Dragon-marked black gold was frightened. Busy turned into a smaller stone. Back then, you said the foot of the bed was not high enough, so you made her bigger. Woohoo. Now I blame myself again. Dragon pattern black gold makes me want to cry. Why did you end up with such a master? Start building directly. 3 completely different materials were forcibly and roughly combined by Suchanga. Everyone in Longyu was dumbfounded. Is this how you refine spiritual weapons? Shouldn't you use spiritual power to cultivate them first, and then slowly select them? A suitable direction to build. How is this going? Good. The next step is to integrate them into one. Suchanga is full of achievements. The corner of Longyu's mouth twitched after hearing this. Brother Su. You are too rude. Is this the legendary ability to defeat 10,000 methods with one force? 3 completely different materials, and they are all precious emperor-level materials that are used to refine imperial weapons. They were forcibly fused together by Suchanga using his terrifying spiritual energy. Boom! A bolt of lightning fell from the sky. The dark clouds were rolling, and the terrifying thunder was rolling. At the same time, a giant thunder eye opened from the sky, looking directly at Duan Tianya. At the same time, there are many pavilions and pavilions behind the giant eye, and many young emperors built by thunder stand in the pavilions. The imperial weapon is born. Why is it you again? Suchanga looked at the big eyes in the sky and felt a little familiar. By the way, when he and Nangong Wen beat up the Supreme Being, this big eye seems to have come out before. However, he was beaten by the two of them together and ran away in despair. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 64. Thunder Disaster. This is an imperial weapon. Brother Su, you are so awesome. Long Yu was once again in shock. Imperial weapon. This is definitely not the first time for Brother Su to refine weapons. And his strength far exceeds that of the great emperor. By fusing the imperial artifact materials together so roughly, the average great emperor would have been counterattacked long ago. But look at Brother Su, nothing happened at all. It also caused a catastrophe. But then, the shock in Long Yu's eyes turned into worry. A catastrophe? And this tribulation evolved into the eye of God, which is the catastrophe. The most terrifying one among them. Brother Su, you must hold on. Long Yu's heart was in his throat. But then, the terrifying giant eye in the thunderstorm actually showed a kind of humanized fear, then quickly closed it and disappeared all of a sudden. The thunderstorm also gradually receded. He really remembers it. It turns out that he was beaten by Suchanga and a cruel woman together. Mixed doubles. And that woman beat him more than once. So Leiji ran away in despair. Can't afford to offend. Long Yuren was dumbfounded. Damn it! Even the most terrifying thunder tribulation, which even the Forbidden City Supreme Being cannot resist, will he be afraid of Brother Su? How terrifying is Brother Su's strength! Far beyond the restricted area supreme. His. A living, breathing fossil. Brother Su, have you been practicing for hundreds of thousands of years and feel bored in the world, so you deliberately flirt with girls? Long Yu asked doubtfully. Suchanga was a little confused. No. He is only in his 20s. Never mind. No explanation. Even if it is explained, Long Yu may not believe it. The strength of someone in his 20s can no longer be simply described as outrageous. 5 words. Quite outrageous. By the way, look how my Barret is doing. Suchanga looked at his Barret expectantly. Then he was confused. He saw a gunnery dragon lady standing in front of him. She was dressed in a black outfit, with black hair like a waterfall, and she had 2 heads on her head. A black dragon horn with a cold expression. They are completely opposite to Long Yu, one is black and the other is white. Suchanga couldn't help but secretly thought, stunning royal sister. Wait, where is Barret? Thank you master. Woohoo. So touching. The dragon-patterned black gold was so moved that I cried. It actually became an imperial weapon. And it also combines the destiny characteristics of Tianqian Beiyu, the terrifying power of the mother energy of all things, plus the transformable characteristics of dragon power black gold. Where's my Barret? How did you become a human? Suchanga asked with a dark face. It's over. He has to find the stone to put the foot of the bed again in the future. He is the most afraid of trouble. And the most important thing is that Barret is gone. He has become a stunning royal sister. It's weird. Barret. Master, is this what you are talking about? Then the dragon-patterned black gold will take out a very jealous Barret. The muzzle of the gun is dark, and at the same time, there is a black-yellow mother's energy of all things lingering on the gun. The strands are hanging down, and it feels like the void is shaking. Then the dragon-patterned black gold it turned into a spirit and entered Bharat. Master, from now on you can call me Killer Deo and use Waba to your heart's content. Suchanga's head was full of black lines. Use shit. Why do you always say weird things? Long Yu's eyes also became dangerous. Is there another person on the Changa list? No matter, let's try it first. Suchanga was a little excited and picked up this huge Tau-killing gun. The gun body is full of a cold sense of power, blessed by the mother energy of all things, and stimulated by spiritual power, it can directly blast out terrifying spiritual energy. Powerful bullets. When necessary, you can also blast out the dragon-marked black gold. Can lock anyone's chi machine. You can even hit the upper realm from Duantianya. Interesting, interesting. As soon as Suchanga got hold of the Deo-killing spear, he understood all the effects of this thing. Then the terrifying spiritual consciousness swept the entire southern territory, trying to find a monster to practice with. But he had to control the power carefully and not attack it all at once. The lower realm is broken. Is this the holy son of fluctuating light? Being hunted? I remember that this guy was also very fond of me, and the first ruin seemed to be within the jurisdiction of the holy land of shaking light. Let's save his life. Just in time to test its power. Suchanga's spiritual sense detection revealed that the holy son of shaking light who licked him crazily at the Immortal Deo conference was actually being chased by a demon ancestor. In fact, this can be regarded as the demon clan using the big to bully the small and torturing the human beings. No matter from what angle, Suchanga felt that he had to take action. And the most important thing is that tonight's barbecue has lock on that demon ancestor. Shot. Boom. The muzzle of the Tau-killing gun gathered terrifying spiritual power, and then directly condensed into a terrifying beam of light under the influence of the mother chi of all things, pouring out. Suchanga's spiritual power is almost endless, and it is continuously supplied. Ah! The monster clan let out a scream and turned into ashes in an instant. The holy son of Fueyo was dumbfounded. He fell to the ground tremblingly, and at the same time, he sacrificed a spiritual weapon to protect himself from being affected by the terrifying light wave. Broken. This demon ancestor has turned into Hwei, what else can he eat? The corner of Suchanga's mouth twitched. The first time he used it, he failed to control the power well. Then Suchanga stopped the supply of spiritual power, and the remaining spiritual power beam continued to move forward and penetrated directly, hitting the demon clan in the air. On top of the mountain, smashed the towering suspended mountain in the sky to pieces. Long Yuren was dumbfounded. This power is a bit outrageous, and it doesn't look like it's trying its best. It is indeed an imperial weapon. Attack and kill the imperial weapon. If all the Deo patterns and the mother energy of all things are activated, it is estimated that even the upper world can be destroyed. Holy Son Fueyo, come to me, Duan Tianya. I have something to ask you. Suth sound of the song reached the ears of Holy Son Fueyo. He had to ask about the ruins. Although we have already visited the site, it is the territory of Fueyo Holy Land after all. Who? Is this the voice of Senior Su? Sage Fueyo was startled by the sudden sound. He immediately reacted. This voice was so distinctive. Isn't it the voice of Senior Su that he thought about day and night? Yes. I'm going to do Tianya right now. Holy Son Fueyo was a little excited. After he was awakened by Suchanga that day, he went directly to the wild wilderness of the southern border to practice, and even entered many Jedi, but he survived them all. Only this demon ancestor, making him feel the breath of death. But now is not the time to practice, he has to go to Duan Tianya quickly. It is no exaggeration to say that Suchanga's words are now more effective than the words of Yeo Guang Holy Son and his father. That's right, Shideo, come out and manifest your weapon spirit from now on, and be my gun-wielding boy. Suchanga put down the Dao killing gun with satisfaction. Then the Dao killing gun appeared. What a damn gun-wielding boy. She was originally the tool spirit of the Dao killing gun. Damn it. But the Dao killing gun thought about it again and comforted herself. After giving herself a meal, she felt much better instantly. Her status has risen a lot. She has been promoted from a stone at the foot of the bed to a kid with a gun. Come on. A promotion is just around the corner. Master, I'm going to sit for a while. Dao was excited. The dark dragon horns were shining with light. He was finally able to move. He used to stay under the foot of the bed, but now even if he is doing it on the side, Dao feels very comfortable. Go ahead and let me study the weapon refining. Suchanga nodded. Then Dao killing gun carried the mighty Barret to the stool. Cool. Zidao sighed in admiration. At this moment, Xiao Linger flew out of the book pavilion and floated in front of Suchanga. Daddy. Sister asked Linger to come out to find you. There is something Linger doesn't know how to do. Linger hugged the jade slip, her little head filled with doubts. What? Suchanga was a little confused. He took a look at the content in the jade slip. It's a secret word. Good guy. No wonder you can't understand it. Even a saint would have to study this thing for thousands of years before he can even scratch the surface. Haha, little guy, you learn this slowly, you can't learn it now. Suchanga smiled and tapped the tip of Linger's nose, very fondly. Okay, Linger knows. This, who is this? Linger suddenly saw Dao sitting aside and was instantly surprised. Then he looked at Long Yu again. It was like he had discovered a new continent. These can't be the legendary twins, no, one is white and the other is black, are they mother and daughter? Linger tilted her little head in confusion. Dao and Long Yu became interested instantly. Mother and daughter? Both of them are dragons, who looks older? The woman's competitive spirit was instantly aroused, and her 4 pairs of big eyes looked at Xiao Linger. Ahem, Linger, ignore it guys, Dad also made a weapon today and will give it to you when you grow up. Suchanga smiled softly. Then he pointed at the Dao killing gun in his hand. Little Linger was like a blank piece of paper, trying her best to absorb the knowledge of the world. When she saw Suchanga pointing at something she had never seen before, she instantly became interested. Wow! Looks so cool. Linger blinked her big eyes and fell in love with this thing immediately. Auntie Long, can Linger touch this thing? The corners of Dao's mouth twitched slightly. She is the one who looks like a mother when it comes to feelings. Damn it! Cackling. Long Yu covered his mouth and smiled, proudly raising his eyebrows at Dao. Auntie Black Dragon, can Linger touch that thing? Call me sister. Auntie, can Linger touch that sister? The murderer was stupid. Suchanga couldn't help laughing. Little Linger is so cute. Linger, call this black dragon sister. It's not called that weapon. Profound. Linger nodded heavily, and the dull hair on her head vibrated up and down. She was a little embarrassed. Linger's face was slightly red. Sister, can Linger touch that ant black dragon? Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 65. I'm the sister. Zidao was a little anxious. Ah. Profound. Linger understands. Sister Black Dragon Linger, can you take a look at that thing? Xiao Linger tilted her head and thought for a while, then pointed at the Dao killing gun. Of course, this is your dad's stuff, just ask your dad. My sister is also your father's. Dao said this without any embarrassment at all. That's how it is anyway. Suchanga is her master. Wow, Linger thinks this kind of stuff is so cool. So Linger had stars in her eyes and flew over to rub the body of the Tao slaying gun. But she was so small. She wasn't even as big as the butt of the Tau-slaying gun. Linger, do you like this very much? Suchanga was a little curious. I didn't expect that by randomly building an imperial weapon, I accidentally aroused some interest in my daughter. She turned out to be a gun fan. Take a look at Linger's favorite spirit wine. Throw it aside. Linger just thinks it's cool. I mean, Linger wants to be a cool person. When Linger said this, her big eyes blinked, and she held her little hand tightly at the same time, very convinced. At the same time, the stupid hair on her head fluttered in the wind. So cute. If you weren't so cute as a father, I would almost believe it. Suchanga was helpless. But since my daughter likes it, I will support it. Next time, get a Vulcan Gatling. Get a slightly weaker one. Moreover, the talent of the Holy Spirit clan is that they are born with the ability to absorb the spiritual energy between heaven and earth, and their own spiritual energy is also very sufficient, which is just right for this fantasy version of hot weapons. The more Suchanga thought about it, the more interesting it became. This kind of weapon consumes a large amount of spiritual energy. But Linger's Holy Spirit body can perfectly make up for this shortcoming. Perfect. Ahem, what are you doing? At this moment, So Kingxia walked out of the bookstore in disgrace. She felt a little unlucky. After searching for so long in the bookstore, she still couldn't find the book containing the jade slip. Damn it! Why did Xiao Linger find it as soon as she looked for it? Already. Refined a spiritual weapon for my father, little Linger likes it very much. Suchanga pointed at the murderer. So Kingxia was stunned. This is special. A peerless imperial sister, although much inferior to her own mother, she is still a peerless lady on the outside. Especially the pair of dragon horns on her head give her a different kind of beauty. You said this is a spiritual weapon. I'm sorry for your evil. Can you not lie to me? Which romantic debtor is this? This is really a spiritual weapon. Real. Real. Lying to me. If I deceive King Xiu, I will be struck by thunder. Rumble. A terrifying thunder disaster appeared. A thunder general held a thunder weapon, and his majesty seemed to be able to cleanse the world. You are indeed lying to me. So annoying. So King Xiu pinched her waist, a little angry. However, she was not worried that this thunder tribulation would cause harm to Suchanga. Because Suchanga could easily hunt down the 10 evil spirits, and an ordinary thunder tribulation from the lower world was not easy to come by. So King Xiu didn't know that Suchanga could easily scare away the Eye of God level lightning disaster, otherwise it would have been even more shocking. Where, go quickly. The thunderous general was very serious, and he shouted angrily with orders. But when he saw Duan Tianya, his expression changed. Why is it this place again? Then the thunder tribulation quickly disappeared. Slip away. He is just a soldier in the thunder catastrophe of God's eye, afraid. That man is a being that even the eyes of God are afraid of. Am I so terrible? Suchanga touched his cheek. He may look handsome, but he's not so handsome that it's scary. How are you, Xiao King Xiu? Didn't my father lie to you? Suchanga glanced at Su King Xiu proudly. Why did the thunder tribulation happen? He obviously didn't lie to anyone. Wait, that's right. Killing Dao is an imperial weapon, what he and Xiao King Xiu were talking about is a spiritual weapon. This is not on the same level at all. That's why it caused thunder and disaster. Okay, you really didn't lie to me. The corner of Su King Xiu's mouth twitched slightly. She could clearly feel that the thunderous general just now had a kind of humanized fear. This is no joke. He is afraid of his father. This is outrageous. How dare I deny it? You. Ahem, I really am not lying to you, this is black gold with dragon pattern. Suchanga explained to Su King Xiu. Then Su King Xiu gradually understood. She cried out in her heart that it was a pity. Originally, she wanted to find a time to secretly steal the dragon-patterned black gold that padded the foot of the bed, but now fortunately, it was refined directly by my father. What a pity. I see, I know, you are the rock that spits out mucus. It's Tao slaying. 11 Deo was a little embarrassed. What's wrong with the white mucus she spit out? That's impurities. That's how she gradually spit out a slightly strange stone, and then finally spit it out into dragon-patterned black gold. I know you. So King Xio patted Shideo on the shoulder, wanting to experience the feeling of being a hostess. But Shideo was much taller than her and couldn't reach her at all. Shideo squatted down consciously. Then Su King Xio patted Shideo on the shoulder. I want to grow up quickly. Su King Xio roared in her heart. But she was still very cold on the surface. By the way, Dad, why can't I find the jade slips, but Linger found them as soon as I looked for them. Su King Xio is a little confused. Is it really that she is too unlucky? Or is it because the two reincarnated parents are so awesome that they have exhausted all her luck? It is also possible. Because you have evil intentions. I have no evil intentions. You are the one with evil intentions. Flirting with girls all day long. For no, what I said is true. It's really because of evil intentions that you can't find it? What's the meaning? Suchanga smiled confidently. Just you. A little girl is still fighting with her father. How could my father let you get the secret technique and the emperor's scripture in vain? All the emperor's scripture and jade slips will run away on their own. Su King Xio could not detect the sudden change of position. Only by sincerely organizing the books would these emperor sutras and jade slips not run around. Su King Xio was obviously focused on finding the emperor sutra. Otherwise, it would have taken so long to find it. Damn it! You little bastard! You've been perfunctory as a father, now your father must have taken advantage of you. Ha ha ha. Suchanga laughed. He was very happy. But then a pair of small fists gently hit his shoulders. Dad, just tell me. I'll give you a massage. Su King Xio hammered gently with her two little hands. Although she is young, she is a monk in the realm of the gods after all, and the massage is very powerful. At the same time, Long Yu also stood aside very sensibly, took out his mountain and river fan, and gently fan. Dad, come and have a drink. Linger flew up, holding a wine bottle, and took the initiative to pour wine for Suchanga, then picked it up and put it into Suchanga's hand. For a moment, Suchanga was as happy as a god. Mijus. Killing Deo looked at the Killing Deo gun in his hand. I feel a little embarrassed. There are so many people who have no talents whatsoever and are stuck here like wooden blocks. So embarrassing. How about killing two demon kings with one shot? Or foaming at the mouth? Ahem, stop, 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 if you continue to enjoy it like this, your whole person will be ruined. Suchanga stopped him quickly and sat up from the recliner. It felt so good. But there are still things to do now. I estimate the time. If it's quick, Holy Sun Fueo will be here soon. You were obviously humming the song with enjoyment just now. Su King Xio cursed in her heart. But on the outside she was smiling. Dad, just tell King Xio why King Xio's intentions are not right. Su King Xio smiled sweetly, her eyes watery. If it had been before, Suchanga might not have been able to bear it, but now, after so many times, he has already experienced it. This guy is a little devil. At the same time, part-time actor. This cute look cannot be achieved without rehearsing 100 times. Tell me quickly. Otherwise, tell your mother that you bullied me. Su King Xio saw that acting coquettishly didn't work, so she directly used her special skill. Okay. Suchanga's mouth twitched. The big devil had just left, and he didn't want to see the big devil again so soon. Did your father ask you to help him organize his books? Yes. Didn't you organize it? Yes. So you can't find the jade slips. If you sort them out carefully, the jade slips may find you on their own. Can Daddy give it to me directly? Can't. Really? There's no point in being cute. Snored. Sukingsyo snorted and ran into the bookstore angrily. Hair Yosia of books. Where to start sorting this out? Sukingsyo clenched her fist firmly, then started to read the books one by one, and then categorized them. Fortunately, Suchanga had already marked the category labels on each bookshelf. Otherwise, Sukingsyo's difficulty would increase tenfold. When Sukingsyo got serious, the Empress's demeanor reappeared. She acted vigorously and resolutely, without any distraction, and organized quickly. At the same time, she seemed to have gradually forgotten about looking for the jade slips. In the future, you must remember your father's good intentions. Suchanga sighed in his heart. In fact, he had long noticed that something was wrong with Sukingsyo's identity. That kind of habits and innate temperament were simply not something that a child with secondary school syndrome could imitate. However, Kingsyo now she is his biological daughter. This has been the case from the moment this life was born. She is also Nangong Win's biological daughter. She is the product of the two of them. But these days, as he gives Sukingsyo more and more conveniences Sukingsyo's heart as the Empress seems to be a little lost. It's just a good opportunity to trade with Kingsyo. So what about the Empress? She is my daughter in this life, so her father will fulfill her responsibilities. Afterwards, Suchanga lay down. I was on the lounge chair, leisurely enjoying the breeze fanned by Long Yu, and at the same time drinking the wine handed over by Ling Er. It was really enjoyable. Why haven't you arrived yet? Suchanga looked at the main entrance with some confusion. Why hasn't Holy Sun Fueo arrived yet? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 66. According to calculations, if Holy Sun Yeoguang had gone all out, he would have arrived long ago. Even if we drive slowly and leisurely, we should still be there. Forget it, use your spiritual sense to check it out. Suchanga was a little confused. Then his spiritual consciousness spread across the entire southern territory again, and he soon discovered the Holy Son of Yeoguang. This guy actually met the third prince of the Chu dynasty. Ridiculous. And the two of them were cutting off Tianya. Climb up from the bottom of the cliff, holding onto the rocks above the cliff, step by step. He said, why is it so slow? Under Duan Tianya, Saint Sun Fueo floated in the air with a black line on his face, looking at the man in front of him who kept holding the cliff with his hands. Third Prince, are you really familiar with Senior Su? The Holy Son of Yeoguang was a little confused. At the same time, he was madly cursing in his heart. If this guy hadn't said that he was very familiar with Senior Su, he would have left long ago. Damn. A monk who is upright is actually afraid of heights. He said that he was flying with the third prince. When I went up, this guy said that he couldn't stand flying in the sky, and that he had never learned the art of flying in the air. It was really outrageous. That's for sure. I even had dinner with Senior Su. Absolute acquaintance. Hurry up and lend me some spiritual power, I can't hold on any longer. The third prince didn't step firmly and almost fell down. This end of the world is a chasm for ordinary monks, and only this guy would climb up like this because he is afraid of heights. It's a weird thing. Boronima. Come up here. The Holy Son of Shaking Light couldn't stand it anymore, so he grabbed the third prince's clothes, activated the shaking light technique, turned into a rainbow, and rushed towards Duan Tianya. Ah! Let me go. Ah! The third prince shouted wildly. But the weak feeling of fear of heights came out all of a sudden. He had no ability to resist at all and could only hold the Holy Son of Light tightly. Let me go. Not loose. Let go of me. How unbecoming it is to hold on like this. Don't want. The third prince not only didn't let go, but used his hands and feet together. At the same time, he hit the vital point. Holy Son Fueo was in pain. He almost turned into an old man. I'm going to kill you. The Holy Son of Fluctuating Light was furious. His breath was unstable for a moment, and he didn't control the fluking light technique very well, so he fell directly from the air. He had simply reached Duantianya, and if he fell, he would just fall on Duantianya, and there was no need to fall into the abyss. Inside. Plop. Two big men fell from the sky. They burst together tightly. Suchanga was stunned. Longyu and Shideo also covered their mouths tightly. Hiss. Shocked them for a whole year. I once heard that there is a man who likes Longyang in the cultivation world, but I didn't expect to see him today, and I saw him on Duantianya. Wait, what are these two perverts doing in Duantianya? Longyu and Shideo looked puzzled at the same time, and then they both looked at Suchanga. See what I do? And why are your eyes so perverted? Suchanga was even more confused. Why did they come to Duantianya? I asked Holy Son of Light to come over. Hiss, Brother Su, you were the one who called me here in person. Longyu's eyes became a little weird. No way, no way. A man is going to appear on the song list. Don't scare the sisters. If a man appears, no matter how many grudges they have before, the sisters will united and xenophobic. Yes, I called you here in person. What's wrong? Suchanga is really confused. What's wrong with Longyu and Shideo? They are all so weird. His little Linger is still cute. Linger. Suchanga called out, but found that Linger had already hid far away. What happened? Suchanga is stupid. Ahem, Brother Su, tell you or clearly whether there is Longyang. Longyu bit his lip lightly. It's quite embarrassing to say such a thing. Linger also looked at Suchanga. For Linger, she naturally didn't know what was going on. She just thought it was more fun, so she played with the two dragon sisters. Suchanga was a little confused. How could the good-looking Longyu ask him such a question? A lesson from heaven and earth. He, Suchanga, is really a straight man. And the most annoying thing is why would you ask such a question? Didn't you call them here? This. Suchanga looked at the quarrel between the third prince and the holy son Yeoguang, and understood instantly. You almost scared me to death, holy son Fueo. You almost made me a eunuch. You. The corner of Suchanga's mouth twitched slightly. How come everyone who comes to his place has some problem with their brains? You two, come here. Suchanga's voice sounded. The Yeoguang holy son and the third prince separated instantly like a conditioned reflex, and then stood up obediently. Hiss, I miss Senior Su's voice so much. This is Senior Su. Super invincible boss. Living in seclusion in Duantianya. Third prince, what are you doing here with Su? Did Chu Xiener ask you to come here? Suchanga was a little wary. He called Yeoguang holy son here, but not the third prince. If it was Chu Xiener who sent the third prince here, then he would have to be wary. There is already a Longyu Lai here it is, he didn't want one more. Otherwise, Nangong Wen would have to trick him. Hiss. It's scary to think about it, after all, he only has 2 kidneys. Senior Su, my father asked me to come here to inform you. The third prince bowed respectfully, then looked at Yeoguang holy son with some vigilance, and continued talking after receiving Suchanga's signal. Father said that there are shocking ruins in the holy land of shaking light, so I invite you to go and take a look, maybe you can find a few treasures that suit your heart. The third prince smiled awkwardly. In fact, his father's idea was to give Chu Xian'er a chance to be alone with Suchanga. When a man and a woman fall in love, it is nothing more than to experience together. At the same time, they fell into a ruins cave and came out naturally. They are Taoist lovers. This kind of thing happened to Emperor Chu many times when he was young. After all, he and Suchanga were fellow Taoists. After meeting in Qingnian, a Zen saint whose Suchanga was becoming a monk, and there was actually when the dragon girl from the upper world chased him down to confess his love, Emperor Chu knew that this was his senior. He passed through thousands of flowers and not a single leaf touched him. It was so terrifying. Will Chu Xian'er go? Maybe no. Su asked you, not you. This, can go. Then Su is not going. You don't have to go either. Suchanga looked at the third prince with interest. I found this guy to be quite funny, with good emotional intelligence and good cultivation talent. But I am very afraid of heights. Just outrageous. In the fantasy world, the third prince is the only monk he has ever seen who is afraid of heights. Holy son of Yaoguang, this is what I told you. There are ruins opened in your section. I hope that the holy land of Yaoguang can allow Su to pass through. Suchanga smiled slightly. Holy son Yaoguang nodded quickly. Who the hell dares not to let you in? Now the forces in the entire southern region know about Suchanga because of the Immortal Dao Conference, and the major holy places have speculated Suchanga is a super genius in the upper realm. Therefore, almost all sects have ordered their disciples to respect Suchanga when they see him. And when they see Su Qingxiu and Xiaoling they must take good care of them. Suchanga is well known in the southern realm. Got it? Okay, you two have come a long way and I'll let you have a meal. Suchanga waved his hand. He came so far away, but Holy Son Yaoguang still called him here himself. He didn't leave anyone to eat. It's not justified in terms of etiquette. Really? Very good. The third prince said in surprise. This made Holy Son Yaoguang a little strange. Isn't he just eating? Why are you so surprised? You are also yelling. Holy Son Yaoguang looked at the third prince with disdain. Especially because he is afraid of heights. This is all for the prince. Haha, if you can take a bite of Senior Su's rice, you can almost break through to a new level. The third prince secretly transmitted the message. Although he is not very friendly with Holy Son Yaoguang, after all, this guy brought him up. Otherwise, he really wouldn't be able to climb up. Real. That's natural. Soon, after a secret transmission, Holy Son Yaoguang and the third prince both bowed and saluted, and then walked into Suchanga's mansion. Little did they know that this kind of secret transmission was almost like talking into Suchanga's ears. These two little guys are really smart. Suchanga smiled. As expected of a holy son and a prince, although their abilities are very immature, they are not good at dealing with people. Don't make unnecessary enemies. At the same time, you will never be soft when facing enemies. This is every day the survival rules that every heir to a great power must learn. You can sit wherever you like without any restraints. I'll get you something to eat. Suchanga smiled casually, and then prepared to walk into the kitchen. But a pair of slender hands stopped him. Brother Su, sit down while you goes to cook. The person who stopped Suchanga was Long Yu. Suchanga was confused. No. Will you? Nangong Wen can cook, but you can't. She just knows how to cook. Then you can also cook. You also wants to make delicious food for Brother Su. You will definitely not be worse than Nangong Wen. Long Yu bit his lip lightly. Then he walked into the kitchen and started cooking for the first time in his life. Suchanga was a little helpless. This seems to be Long Yu's first time cooking. He had some bad premonitions. Then Suchanga looked at Holy Sun Yeoguang and the third prince who were sitting there like two primary school students. Well, you two little guys. This time it was a disaster. What's wrong? Senior Su. The third prince saw Suchanga looking over and stood up quickly. He was so nervous. They were all under tremendous pressure just sitting there, and they almost put their hands behind their backs. It's okay. If you don't want to eat later, you can eat less. Suchanga warned earnestly. It's okay, since it was Senior Su's wife who cooked, Chu must have eaten them all. Not only that, but you have to pack it up and take it back. What a unique collection. The third prince's eyes flickered. Even if the dragon goddess cooking is not as good as that of Senior Su, she is definitely top-notch. What a great opportunity, what a great opportunity. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong Wrong. Chapter 67. The same is true for fluctuating light, and absolutely no one will be wasted. Saint Sun Yeoguang said this when he saw the third prince. He nodded and set a flag. In fact, Saint Sun Yeoguang was also very curious. It was just a meal. It was really as magical as the third prince said. You can break through the realm with just one bite. It's okay, you don't have to be restrained. If you don't want to eat, you really don't have to eat. Suchanga said sincerely. He had already used his spiritual sense to take a look. Long Yu is a layman when it comes to cooking. No matter what it is, he stuffs it into the pot and then uses his spiritual power to cook it. Haha, you're welcome, Senior Su. We must finish our meal. This is a great opportunity. We all know it. Be sure to finish eating. Must. As the third prince was talking, he saw a thick black smoke coming from the kitchen's sacred vessel, and the violent poisonous gas spread out. If a bird touched it, it would be poisoned to death. Damn it! The third prince was shocked in his heart. The holy son of shaking light was also stupid. This is so weird. It will poison people if eaten. This thick black smoke just needs the special effect of a skull. Ah! What stinks so much? I mean, Linger was drinking just now. Vomit. Linger flew into Suchanga's arms with a whoosh, as if this could block the stench. The stench is overwhelming. The entire Duantianya has been wrapped in a thick stench and poisonous black smoke. Suchanga was a little helpless. He knew that Long Yu couldn't cook, but he didn't expect that Long Yu would act like he was leaking. Scary. Senior, save me. Don't save me. The third prince and Holy Sun Yeoguang spoke simultaneously, their eyes full of shock. If they eat this, they will be doomed. Disperse. Suchanga waved his hand, and his spiritual power was activated. In an instant, every trace of poisonous gas on the sky was gone. At the same time, the billowing black smoke was gradually sealed by Suchanga. Then, the pot in Long Yu's hand was directly sealed. Long Yuren was stupid. Brother Su, Yuer hasn't finished yet. Why did you seal my pot? Long Yu was a little depressed. She was working hard. Suddenly a golden light fell and her pot was sealed. What to do? Hiss, what did you make? Can you Enling holy fruit and blood fusion spirit fruit be put together? Suchanga looked at the pot boiling with poisonous gas, and his nose was filled with anger. Each of these two is an excellent tonic, but as long as they are put together, they are deadly poison. Long Yu doesn't, maybe you don't know. Oops, I was so nervous to cook for Brother Su for the first time that I forgot about it. Long Yu scratched his head in embarrassment. Then he threw the pot in his hand to the ground. Hiss. It's so poisonous. If you become an alchemist in the future, you will definitely be the king of ultimate alchemy. But I am the alchemist now. The corners of Suchanga's mouth twitched slightly. Well, he shouldn't talk. Soon, Suchanga took out the sealed poison cauldron. Do you two still want to finish it all? Suchanga smiled slightly. Holy Sun Yeoguang and the third prince shook their heads quickly, like rattles. If you eat this thing, you will die. Then Suchanga walked to the edge of the cliff and killed Long Yu. Destroy the poisonous cauldron that came out, and then use spiritual power to refine all the poisonous gas. If this thing is thrown off the cliff, it might be picked up by a poison king one day and cause trouble to the world. Only by using spiritual power can it be given to all. Refining it is the most reliable thing. The Black Dragon Killer Dao looked aside and took all of this into consideration. He was a little lucky. Fortunately, I wasn't the one who was in the pot just now, otherwise I would definitely have been sealed. Hiss, I was born in the same pot, and seeing you in such misery makes me want to laugh. Shideo laughed secretly in his heart. But on the surface, he looked like a cold lady. Okay, let's get you two some wine, we won't be able to eat today. Suchanga took out a pot of spiritual wine and handed it to Holy Sun Yeoguang and the third prince. The two were flattered and thanked them repeatedly. Feeling the surging spiritual power in the spiritual wine, both of them swallowed. Good stuff. Thank you, Senior Su. The last time I drank a spiritual wine of this level was when I was celebrating obtaining the dragon-marked black gold in the Holy Land. The Holy Son of Yeoguang was immediately bored, and then he was filled with emotions. But halfway through the emotion, he quickly crossed his legs and circulated his skills to digest the surging power in the spirit wine. After a while, he came back to his senses, only to find that Suchang-ji is looking at himself. Is there dragon-patterned black gold in the shaking light Holy Land? Suchanga was a little confused. He didn't think it was a big deal when a shaking light Holy Land appeared. After all, in the fantasy world, there were many holy places that had similar reputations. However, when the Holy Land of Shaking Light is bound to dragon-patterned black gold, it's different. This special meow, isn't this a holy land that has a relationship with ruthless people? Something is wrong. But Suchanga can be very sure and certain that this place is definitely not blocking the heavenly world. Strange. According to legend, the dragon-patterned black gold appeared in the Holy Land on a stormy night, and was delivered personally by a woman wearing a bronze mask. She didn't know what she was going to do. However, the Holy Lord of the Holy Land has built a memorial tablet for her and even erected a huge statue. Saint Son of Yeoguang said truthfully. He was not worried at all that Suchanga would snatch the dragon-patterned black gold from Yeoguang Holy Land. After all, if he read it correctly, Senior Su is a strong man far beyond the great emperor. Such a strong man does not need to be greedy for a little bit of dragon-patterned black gold. Suchanga was a little confused. Why did he immediately associate the woman with the bronze mask with Nangong Win? What's happening here? Is it really Nangong Win? She said she was busy with something. Was she planning something? Do you still have a member of my race there? At this time, Shideo was confused. Black gold with dragon patterns should not appear in the lower realm. She was brought down from the upper realm by Suchanga. Same race? Who are you, damn it? The Holy Son of Yeoguang was still a little hesitant at first, but he came back to his senses in an instant and understood the meaning of killing Dao. This black dragon sister turned out to be a weapon spirit. Damn it! Made of black gold with dragon patterns, at least they must be imperial soldiers. And there is also a weapon spirit, that is still the highest level imperial soldier recorded. Hiss. Holy Sun Yeoguang and the third prince felt their knees weaken and fell to the ground. What is that? An existence that has followed the great emperor in bloody battles for tens of thousands of years. Even a ray of imperial power can make the whole world collapse. Unexpectedly, such an existence was standing in front of them alive. This kind of impact is much greater than that of the gentle Suchanga. Get up, everyone, get up. If you do this, the master will lock me up. Zideo was a little flustered, and quickly used a burst of spiritual energy to drag the two people up. Unexpectedly, Senior Su was also an emperor who fought in all directions before, but he should have transcended it by now. The holy son of Yeoguang sighed secretly in his heart. Unexpectedly, such a gentle Senior Su would have been involved in bloody battles before. Suchanga felt speechless as he felt the thoughts in Yeoguang holy son's heart. But he can still be considered a bloody fight? It's just other people's blood. From his debut to now, no one has been able to beat him to death. By the way, is there any information about the bronze-masked woman in the shaking light Holy Land? Su Changa asked. He thought about it carefully, and he was basically sure that it was Nangong Wen, because no one else would do such a thing. A super strong person came to the lower realm and presented black gold with dragon patterns. I guess only Nangong Wen is so free. No more, but the man with the bronze mask at that time asked us to cast the dragon-patterned black gold into a tripod, and we were not allowed to cast it into anything else. How can our Holy Land have such strength to touch the imperial weapon? The Holy Son of Lightside. That is to say, Senior Heso can say these things without restraint. After all, Senior Su already has an imperial weapon made of dragon-patterned black gold, and he won't try to snatch it away at all. Got it, drink and drink, I'll give you some jugs of good wine to take home today. Suchanga placed 2 small gourds on the table. Each gourd is filled with spiritual wine. Although it is very low end, it is enough for these 2 guys to break through the realm. Thank you, Senior Su. Another great gift. Suchanga accepted it happily. However, thoughts were racing in his mind. The dragon-patterned black gold, cast into a cauldron, will it turn into an imperial weapon on a stormy night in the future? What the hell, the script is a bit looks like it. Is Nangong Wen a ruthless person? Or is she the same as a ruthless person? Suchanga doesn't know. But it doesn't matter. After all, she is the mother of the child, no matter how ruthless she is, she has to call him husband. Ahem, Brother Su, do you still want to eat? I can do it. Long Yu came over and patted Suchanga on the shoulder. The corners of Suchanga's mouth twitched slightly. How did you come up with the idea to ask this question? And how dare you say that you can do it? Not hungry, not hungry. Aren't you hungry? I think you don't want to eat the food cooked by you or. Really not hungry. Great. Long Yu's eyes were a little disappointed. She lost again. At the hands of Nangong Wen. The food made by Nangong Wen was so fragrant and delicious. Brother Su loved it, King Xiu and Linger also liked it. And she came up, he almost poisoned all the creatures in Duantianya to death. No, I can't give up. Long Yu clenched his fists. He decided to practice more aftercare. Anyway, he must make delicious meals for Brother Su. Then Long Yu ran away and started studying various recipes. This is what she specifically searched for in the bookstore. Call. The third prince and holy son Yeoguang breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Very good. No need to be poisoned. Suchanga also felt relieved, and just as he was about to say something, Su Kingxiu's voice came out. Dad. I have broken through to the realm of supernatural powers. Su Kingxiu ran out happily. She was so excited. Like a bolt of lightning, she threw herself into Suchanga's arms with a whoosh. Fantasy, the empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 68. Su Kingxiu was really touched. In fact, her breakthrough was not due to finding the jade slips or the emperor's scripture. Instead, he really calmed down and sorted out each book based on his serious character and attitude in his previous life. Books by Suchanga, even reading requires strong spiritual awareness. As long as you read those books, your spiritual awareness will grow every moment. So when Su Kingxiu was addicted to reading, her realm suddenly and naturally broke through. It turns out that Dad was just trying to wake me up. Sukingsyu nuzzled into Suchanga's arms. She did rely a little too much on Suchanga and Nangong. I always fantasize about getting something good from Suchanga. But now, she is convinced that even without Suchanga, she can still become the peerless empress again. Kingsyu, congratulations. Congratulations on breaking through to the realm of supernatural powers. Suchanga smiled and rubbed Sukingsyu's little head. In fact, Sukingsyu's psychology is understandable. Because Suchanga and Nangong are so awesome, they are equivalent to the strongest people in the world. As these two people, the child, even if Sukingsu is the empress, will inevitably be a little lost. The realm of supernatural powers. The third prince was stunned. He looked at Sukingsu acting coquettishly in Suchanga's arms. Remember the last time she was caught by several demon kings in Duantianya, Sukingsu must have just broken through the innate realm. How long has it been? Just cross the Zi mansion and achieve magical powers. You must know that even if he is so big now, he is still broken. If this progress continues, Sukingsu will probably be at the same level as him in a few months. Ridiculous. Congratulations. The third prince raised his wine glass and congratulated in the same way. Linger has no intention of breaking through the realm yet. I mean, Linger is really happy for Sister Kingsyu. So Linger smiled happily, her drunken little face flushed a little, and the stupid hair on her head swayed with Linger's laughter. Very cute. Kingsyu, please stabilize your realm first, and then have a meal. Let's go to the shaking light holy land together. Suchanga smiled and pinched Sukingsyu's little face. Ah. Good. Sukingsyu nodded heavily. Her cheeks were red. What was she doing just now? Moved, she threw herself into Suchanga's arms and acted like a baby like crazy. It's so embarrassing. Then I'm going to practice, you guys eat first, remember to leave some meat for me. Not a little, but a lot. Leave a lot of meat for me. Sukingsu made some gestures with her little hands. She wanted to try her best to make the size of the meat larger, but she was just a 4.5-year-old child, and her body was still very small, so she couldn't gesture at all. The result looked a bit silly. Cute. Don't laugh, it's probably 4 or 5 times this, you have to figure it out. Sukingsu saw the smile in Suchanga's eyes, and snorted arrogantly. Then Sukingsu stuck out her tongue, and then went to stabilize her realm. In fact, her realm was still very stable. But this time a breakthrough, a perfect state of mind, so I want to sit quietly and meditate for a while, and reflect on myself. Suchanga made another meal. The third prince and holy son Yeoguang originally planned to eat less and be more reserved, but once they ate they couldn't stop at all, and then Long Yu and Shi Dao couldn't stop either. Because the food cooked by Suchanga is so delicious. After drinking and eating, Suchanga stuffed a large piece of barbecue into the storage ring, then called Sukingsu, took the flying boat, and headed towards the holy land of shaking light. The boat of creation was very large, with many cabins inside, as well as a main hall that Suchanga later specially added. In fact, when the ship of creation was at its peak, there were 33 heavens on it, but he broke the heavenly palace into pieces when he beat people up. So only these cabins can be used exclusively for rest. Kingsyu, why don't you ask me what I'm going to do in shaking light holy land this time? Suchanga asked with a smile. He was puzzled by Sukingsu's well-behavedness. When did his daughter, the little devil in the world, become so well-behaved? I don't want to ask, I just want to be with you. Sukingsu's face turned red with embarrassment. She no longer had any worries. Now she is just a little girl who relies on her father. Although she has the memory of the empress in her previous life, it does not affect her love for Suchanga at all. But, there can't be anyone else. There can only be me and Linger. Sukingsu puffed up her mouth. She was very jealous when Linger was there at first. But later she found that Linger was very cute, and she almost turned him into a cute person. But if another baby is born, she will definitely not be able to bear it. Okay, no, no. Is your father such a messy person? Very similar. No. It really doesn't look like it? Yes, it's not like that, because you are that kind of person. I don't want to suddenly have Phoenix sisters, Dragon sisters, and all kinds of messy sisters one day. You misunderstood being a father. Unless you guarantee that they will all be like Linger and be a good little sister. How can I guarantee this? His character is inherently uncertain. Okay. You really want a new baby? I don't. The corner of Suchanga's mouth twitched slightly. He is really a jealous king. Thanks to Linger's cuteness, she screamed about her sister all day long, which made Sukingseo cute. Otherwise, this jealous king might have caused some trouble. Come. Well. Why? Isn't it said that a daughter is her father's caring little cotton-padded jacket? Am I not? Ahem, you are a cotton coat. Sukingseo rolled her eyes. I'm not angry with you. But Sukingseo is still very curious, what is the purpose of going to the Holy Land of Shaking Light this time? Dad, what are you doing in the Holy Land of Shaking Light? Sukingseo asked curiously. However, Suchanga answered the question incorrectly. Do you know what your mother does? Tell Dad about it. Suchanga was mysterious. Sukingseo was confused for a while. Very meow. How could I possibly know what my mother does? You two are so awesome, and your cultivation is astonishing, but now you ask my mother what she does. Aren't you a couple? Aren't they all used for couples? Honey, why don't you even know this? Have no idea. Tell Dad. Really do not know. Sukingseo was helpless. Then she thought carefully about getting along with her mother, and then said, I'm so surprised, why don't you know what my mother does? Do I know more than your husband? Suchanga touched his head in embarrassment. At that time, he was only focused on flirting with girls. He really didn't care about this kind of thing. But now that he thinks about it, Nangong Wen is really outrageous. A native of a fantasy world can be so powerful. Even more powerful than the cheater at the beginning. You can imagine how perverted Nangong Wen is. Let me tell you something. But Sukingseo smiled and extended her palm to Suchanga. What? You know. After a while, Sukingseo held a large piece of abnormally spicy barbecue in her hand. While eating, she told Suchanga what happened when she and Nangong Wen were together. My mother has a weird temper. How weird? She is very gentle to me, but she is so cold to others, except you. A black line appeared on Suchanga's forehead. You call this weird? That's right, isn't it? This is our privilege, let's put it another way. Ah, profound. Sukingseo reflected on the meaning of privilege for a while, then nodded with satisfaction and continued to think. As for what Nangong Wen does, we have to start from the daily basis. Think about the things that my mother often uses. Correct. Mom always plays with that bronze mask. And that bronze ring. But when I was a kid, I didn't know that it was for couples. Sukingseo was very excited at first, but suddenly she remembered that it was a couple's model, and she instantly withered. Bronze mask. Yes. Suchanga searched through his storage ring and found a bronze mask. There were strange patterns on the bronze mask, and there seemed to be hundreds of millions of faces with different expressions. It was difficult to see the joy, anger, sorrow, and joy. This is a real bronze mask that Nangong Wen gave to him back then. And the Nangong Wen one was given to Nangong Wen by him. That's it, a token of love? Come on, this time we, father and daughter, will work together to be detectives. Find out your mother's identity. Suchanga said mysteriously, holding the mask and making gestures to Su Kingxiu. Interesting. Su Kingxiu also became interested, and got together with Su Chang'e with a smirk. Isn't your mother mysterious? Then we will reveal her secrets. Look what she's been up to all day. Good. Then let's join forces. I want to know too. Then, you have to act as an inside agent and help my father find out about the enemy. Good. Because your mother loves you the most. But you can't sell me. You can be trusted as a parent. Su Chang'e smiled mysteriously. Is Nangong Wen the template for a ruthless person? He is really curious. This bronze mask, bronze ring, etc. are so similar. If there is a jar, Su Chang'e will it's firmly confirmed. It's a pity that there is no jar. This time I went to the holy land of shaking light just to find out your mother's background. Then go find something that can help you practice, you little bastard. Su Chang'e said angrily. The map of the ruins is clearly marked. In that ruins, there is a book of exercises that is most suitable for the chaos body. I don't know how Nangong Wen got it. Could it be that Nangong Wen got it? Yan created it by herself? Unlikely, unless Nangong Wen is a chaotic body, etc., damn it. The ruthless man must have been a chaotic body in his first life. Su Chang'e thought again that the ruins were buried by Nangong Wen 800,000 years ago. I was confused for a moment. Is it really possible that Nangong Wen is a body of chaos? He just wants to sleep well. Why is my wife so naughty? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 69. Hiss. Su Chang'e shook his head. Stop thinking about it. Anyway, Nangong Wen is Su Kingxiu's mother, so she can't run away. It's just that something is going on right now. Don't think about it anymore, take your time, Xiao Kingxiu, you have to support me anyway. Good. Su Kingxiu replied crisply. Then Su Chang'e picked up Su Kingxiu and started walking on the boat of creation. It must be said that the boat of creation was traveling very fast, and it didn't take long to reach the end of the world. Arriving at a desert outside the holy land of shaking light. Senior Su, beyond this desert, further ahead is the holy land of shaking light. I have already informed Master. Holy Sun Fueo bowed slightly. He was very respectful. The third prince was also looking forward to it. This time the great Chu dynasty used a lot of good things to exchange for a place with Yaoguang Holy Land. It was originally for his sister Chu Xian'er. But Su Chang'e said that he would not go if Chu Xian'er went there, so the place fell to him. Moreover, there was no use for Chu Xian'er to go. According to legend, only monks under 20 years old could enter this ruins. Chu Xian'er is already over 20 years old, and he just went there to accompany Su Chang'e and had no other use. Therefore, the Chu dynasty weighed the opportunity and gave this opportunity to this man from a Sanhu. This desert is the chasm outside the shaking light holy land. It is like the cliff at the end of the world for our predecessors. Ordinary monks cannot climb up at all. Saint Sun Yaoguang said this, and suddenly gave the third prince a meaningful look. I can go up there. The third prince explained. You can go up. The first time you were caught by the Demon King, the second time you almost fell but I rescued you. The holy son of Yaoguang smiled. The third prince was too lazy to explain anything and stopped talking. And he couldn't explain anything. Everything you say is true. He's just afraid of heights, what's wrong? Senior Su, the reason why this desert of death is called the heavenly chasm is because black winds often blow here, carrying terrifying sand and dust, forming a terrifying black vortex of death. Even the Demon King cannot resist it. Only those of us in the shaking light holy land know the laws of these black death vortexes. The holy son of Yeoguang smiled. So will we have it here? Suchanga was a little confused. With his spiritual power, he could clearly feel that a terrifying black vortex was coming towards them 1,000 miles away. Outrageous. Of course not. This route I told my seniors is the safest. The holy son of Yeoguang smiled very confidently. Look over there. The holy son of Yeoguang looked up and was completely stunned. In the distance, a terrifying black vortex swept across the sky and headed toward them. What exactly is going on? There shouldn't be a black death vortex here. Senior. I really don't know what's going on. The holy son of Yeoguang hurriedly explained. This matter is really unbelievable. Is there someone specifically targeting Senior Su? Impossible. Now in the entire southern border, who doesn't know the strength of Senior Su, let alone targeting Senior Su? Well, even people who treat Senior Su disrespectfully are very rare. There is something fishy about this matter. It's okay, just keep moving forward. There is a black death vortex ahead. Senior. So what? Suchanga was a little helpless. How could he, the boat of creation, be afraid of the black death vortex? Awkward. It seems that this little fan of mine doesn't quite believe in me. Wow, the scenery is really nice. Su Kingxiu was a little emotional. It's true. The Black Death Vortex, a terrifying vortex, stirred up countless sandstorms. From the ground to the sky, they were all high-speed airflows, and the stirred space began to distort. It was like a beautiful hell. Picture scroll. The Holy Son of Light and the Third Prince were both stunned. What a beautiful scenery. This thing can kill people. It is absolutely impossible to escape in the mountain and sea realm, and death is almost certain in the sun and moon realm. Miss. You actually said the scenery is beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? Su Kingxiu tilted her head and asked. Beautiful. Beautiful. The two of them nodded wildly like chickens pecking at rice. This one is also a big boss. He is a strong man in the realm of supernatural powers at only 4.5 years old. That's pretty much it. I hate it when others hold opposite opinions than mine. Su Kingxiu snorted. Then she glanced at Suchanga, and the meaning was self-evident. I didn't, don't falsely accuse me of being a father. The corners of Suchanga's mouth twitched slightly. This precious daughter of his is still a vengeful person. It's been a long time since he quarreled with Su Kingxiu. Now Su Kingxiu actually remembers the quarrel with each other. Damn it! Why are you so vindictive? My father has not criticized you for a long time. Why do I hold a grudge? You see me. Do you think you just hold a grudge? Yes. As a father, I haven't criticized you for 10 minutes. You can't help but hint at being a father. Isn't this just holding a grudge? Su Kingxiu's forehead was dark. I was thinking crazily in my heart to calm down my anger. Damn it! But she and Suchanga are now on the same front, so let Suchanga go for the time being. Snort. Su Kingxiu snorted proudly, and then ignored Suchanga. He ran aside to drink and eat meat with Ling Er. The third prince and holy son Yeoguang were extremely nervous. The Black Death Vortex is coming. It's about to affect them. Senior Su is still playing with his daughter. Ah! Looking at the terrifying whirlpool that filled the sky, the third prince felt that his calves were spinning. Although the Holy Son of Light was feeling better, he was still afraid in his heart. The Holy Son of Shaking Light grew up in the Holy Land of Shaking Light, and has heard a lot about the Black Death Vortex. Every time I come back, I follow the route taught by my master and avoid the Black Death Vortex. But today, it was obviously a safe route, but a Black Death Vortex appeared. What a bad luck. It's okay, just do whatever you have to do, my flying boat is still very strong. Suchanga pulled out a recliner and lay down on his own. Seeing this, Long Yu quickly came out of the cabin, then took out the mountain and river fan and fanned Suchanga with a slight breeze. Points plus 10. Add 10 points to the points. Listening to the points on the Changa list, Long Yu was even more enthusiastic. Now that she is firmly ranked second on the Changa list, that dead phoenix is probably going to be pissed to death. Ha ha ha. Long Yu is proud of his heart, and his face as he even smiled unconsciously. Senior Su. The tears of the Holy Son of Light and the third prince are about to flow out. Damn it. The Black Death Vortex is coming soon. After coaxing the children, you can start dating and enjoying yourself again. We are really afraid of death. Suchanga was a little confused. He had already said that this flying boat can completely withstand the Black Death Vortex. Did he forget to mention it? Forget it, the Black Death Vortex has arrived, and it's too late to explain. Suchanga shook his head. The boat of creation is the king of creation's tool to prove his truth. Later, it followed the king of creation and experienced many evolutions. It was just a Black Death Vortex, and there was nothing it could do about it. It's over. Entering the range of the Black Death Vortex. The third prince closed his eyes in despair. The holy son of Yeoguang looked curiously at the boundary line of the ship of creation. A thin film of light appeared on the boundary, which was extremely tough. The wind and sand on the edge of the Black Death Vortex were not at all just can't stop it. Hiss. This is Senior Su's flying boat. How can it be inferred using common sense? The holy son of shaking light realized it. Immediately he became a little excited. They actually crossed directly into the center of the Black Death Vortex. This is a Black Death that everyone must avoid. Even the Lord of the Sun and Moon will die in it if he is not careful. What a whirlpool! Senior Su. So handsome. Saint Sun Yeoguang was a little excited. Fine. Suchanga waved his hand helplessly. The prince and the holy son. That's it? Shideo wanted to laugh in his heart. To put it bluntly, such a small storm. If her master doesn't control it, a single sneeze can create a giant storm hundreds of millions of times more terrifying than this storm. We are finally passing, just in time to see what the center of the Black Death Vortex looks like. No one knows this. The holy son of Yeoguang looked out of the flying boat with some curiosity. In a hazy state, he seemed to see a pair of eyes flashing red. The two eyeballs seemed to be the size of lanterns. The owner of the scarlet eyes is hidden in the black vortex, and his body cannot be seen clearly. Immediately afterwards, the owner of the scarlet eyes seemed to devour him, and endless pain surged into the heart of the holy son of Yeoguang. Wake up! Suchanga shouted softly. The holy son of light suddenly woke up. All the illusions in front of him disappeared, only the black death vortex, but the red eyes disappeared. Thank you, Senior, for saving your life. Although he doesn't know what he encountered, Yeoguang Holy Son knows that it is definitely not an existence that he can match. If Suchanga hadn't taken action, he would definitely be dead. Life-saving kindness. Yeoguang Holy Son has already. I don't know what I can do to repay Suchanga. This is the thought of the gods, which is a collection of all the negative emotions of a former emperor-level powerhouse. God thought, in the ruins that are about to be opened, what you just encountered was just a trace of influence. When the ruins are opened in a few days, the power of the divine thoughts will be billions of times greater than it is now. Suchanga looked strange. Did Nangong Wen leave a divine thought here? Or did she suppress other people's divine thoughts here? Ridiculous. No matter what, Nangong Wen meant to let herself come and clean up the mess she made. Damn it! All the evil thoughts of an emperor-level powerhouse condensed into one. The holy son of Yeoguang was shocked. An emperor-level powerhouse? That is the existence of the great emperor. The evil thoughts of such a person, how tyrannical. If the ruins are opened, it is estimated that no one can defeat the Holy Land of Shaking Light, and then the Holy Land of Shaking Light will be destroyed. Please take action, Senior, to save the Holy Land of Shaking Light. The Holy Son of Yeoguang fell to his knees and kowtowed heavily. Fantasy, the Empress was reincarnated as my daughter. Author, Daughter Wrong. Chapter 70. It can be said that the thoughts of gods are the most evil thoughts in the world. If a god is born, he will definitely be able to easily destroy the Holy Land of Shaking Light. Get up, even if you don't beg Su will take action. Suchanga smiled bitterly and shook his head. This god thought is the mess left by Nangong Wen. He has to help Nangong Wen get rid of this thing. I don't know why Nangong Wen didn't clean up this god himself. Nian, after all, is just the residual evil intention of an emperor. Nangong Wen can definitely destroy it easily. But this guy actually stayed. Maybe he just disgusted himself? Thank you, Senior. The Holy Son of Yeoguang kowtowed heavily, and then stood up, his eyes full of solemnity. It is not that simple to open the ruins this time. There may be opportunities, but it is also a disaster. Blessings and misfortunes dependent on each other, it's hard to explain clearly. Ahead is the Shaking Light Holy Land, go down. The boat of creation quickly sailed out of the range of the Black Death vortex and rushed towards the Holy Land of Yeoguang. On the Holy Land of Yeoguang, many disciples were already waiting. At the front of these disciples, stood Yeoguang, the Holy Lord of the Holy Land, the Master of the Holy Son of Light. Welcome Senior Su to the Holy Land of Light. Holy Lord Yeoguang was a little excited and looked curiously at Suchanga on the flying boat. In the past, I only heard people in the southern region discussing how powerful Suchanga was, but it was rare to see him. Now I finally see him. Sure enough, well deserved. Peerless magnificence. These 4 words popped up in the mind of Holy Lord Yeoguang. Only peerless magnificence can describe a man of this level. Su Mao has seen the Holy Lord Yeoguang. Suchanga smiled and said hello. After all, he is a guest from afar, so he still needs to be polite. Master, we encountered a Black Death vortex. If it hadn't been for Senior Su, my disciple would have died on the road. Saint Son of Yeoguang said. What? Black Death vortex? Didn't you follow the route your teacher told you? Holy Lord Yeoguang frowned. Of course I am following the route mentioned by Master. Alas, Senior Su will tell you about this later. It is really shocking. The Holy Son of Yeoguang sighed. Soon, Holy Lord Yeoguang welcomed Suchanga and others into a vast hall, and all manners were in place. Suchanga couldn't find any fault at all. Senior Su's daughter is truly unparalleled in talent and has a bright future. Holy Lord Yeoguang said in surprise. He looked at Su Kingxiu, who was eating the meat on the table in Suchanga's arms. He was very shocked. Because Su Kingxiu's strength has reached the realm of supernatural powers. This seems to be nothing more than he looks like 4 or 5 years old. A 4 or 5-year-old supernatural monk. Generally, even a genius would have to be in his 20s to reach this level of strength. Haha, Kingxiu's talent is really good. Suchanga smiled. Although he was very humble, as long as someone praised his daughter, he couldn't help but be happy. After a few people chatted for a while, Holy Lord Yeoguang got down to business with a serious face. Senior Su, I don't know what's going on with the Black Death vortex. Holy Lord Yeoguang's face is very serious. He is the Holy Lord, so he naturally knows some secrets that others don't know. When Yeoguang Holy Land was first established, it was still a small section at that time. The ancestor of the sect predicted that Yeoguang the Holy Land will be destroyed in the yellow sand. The Black Death vortex is no different from the yellow sand. That's why the Holy Lord of Shaking Light is so vigilant. Aren't there ruins in the Holy Land of Shaking Light? In the ruins, although there are abundant opportunities, there is still a thought of a god. What? Holy Lord Yeoguang was shocked. Divine thoughts? This thing, At least the emperor can produce divine thoughts. In the ruins that are about to be opened, there are divine thoughts? Is this ruin left by the emperor? Opportunities and crises coexist. Holy Lord Yeoguang was stunned for a moment, and he was so stunned that he didn't know what he was thinking. Senior Su, what about you? It's better to get out of here quickly. By the time Shen Nian is born, no one will be able to escape. Holy Lord Yeoguang said bitterly. These words surprised Suchanga. Lord Yeoguang actually advised him to run away. In fact, Suchanga didn't know that the great emperor was already out of reach for people in the southern border. Even though Holy Lord Yeoguang knew that Suchanga was even more powerful than some people in the upper realm, he never dared to think that Suchanga was actually a powerful man far beyond the great emperor. That's why he persuaded Suchanga leaves. If Su runs away, what will the Holy Master do? Naturally, it is to stay in the Holy Land. The ancestral inheritance cannot be abandoned easily. The Holy Lord Yeoguang shook his head. I wonder if Senior Su has any way to prevent the ruins from opening. Holy Lord Yeoguang asked. Prevent ruins from opening? Not really, because this relic is used to suppress the thoughts of gods. Now the power of the ruins has been exhausted by time, and the thoughts of gods are becoming more and more powerful. Under this situation, the emergence of gods has almost become inevitable. Suchanga explained to Holy Lord Yeoguang, but he was full of curses in his heart. It is estimated that 800,000 years ago, Nangong Wen was still a novice. He couldn't kill the gods at all, so he sealed the gods. And then he didn't come to clean up the mess for various reasons. Then he left it to himself. Then we should order the whole sect to retreat. At least we can continue the inheritance of the Holy Land. Holy Lord Yeoguang closed his eyes in pain. But at this moment, a clear sound like a silver bell sounded. Hey, that old man, do you really distrust my father? Su Kingxiu pointed at Holy Lord Shaking Light. She doesn't talk about etiquette. She just feels that her father has been despised. It's just a god of the great emperor. Even if the real emperor comes, Suchanga can probably easy to suppress. Holy Lord Yeoguang was a little confused, but then there was surprise in his eyes. Could it be that Senior Su has a way to solve the thoughts of gods? Holy Lord Yeoguang thought that Suchanga had some special means that could suppress the thoughts of gods. I never thought that Suchanga would have such abnormal cultivation. Yes, Su can solve the god's mind, but as a reward, you have to give Kingxiu a place to enter the ruins. Suchanga said with a smile. Only Kingxiu can get the skill book in the ruins. No one else can get it? It is probably that Nangong Wen left it to Su Kingxiu. As for why he didn't give it to Su Kingxiu in person, Suchangji thought it might be because Nangong Wen was ill. Real? Then of course I agree. The eyes of the Holy Lord Yeoguang flashed. They couldn't do anything about the birth of the gods anyway. They still have a glimmer of life left to Senior Su. But they must be prepared to evacuate at any time. The appearance of this thing in the upper world is a devastating disaster, and even more don't call it the lower realm. Okay. Xiao Kingxiu, once the ruins are opened, enter the ruins. Your father will solve the problem of the gods. Suchanga said with a smile. Good. I know. Anything else to ask? Have. That question, my father already knows everything. Is there an old lover of yours in the Holy Land of Shaking Light? The corners of Suchanga's mouth twitched. He shouldn't talk to Su Kingxiu. This little bastard can always stab him with an arrow from time to time. Say it quickly. Answer me quickly. My father refuses to answer your question. You said you knew everything, but it turns out Dad is a liar. You. Forget it, I'm not the same as you. Is that possible? Is there a Shaking Light Holy Land? No. Suchanga refused. How could there be a holy land of light? You must know that Holy Land of Light was a holy land under Nangongwen back then. If he dared to flirt with girls here, wouldn't it mean that he would have a long life? That big devil was not as good-tempered as he is now. Okay, what about other holy places? What about those holy places in Zhongzhou? There is also a nun in Dongzhou, Baidi, West Desert, Aotui, and West Desert. Suchanga covered Su Kingxiu's mouth. This little bastard. How do you know so much? Just know it and tell it. Absolutely abominable. Woohoo. Don't want inferior meat. Stop it. Su Kingxiu struggled hard, her arms and legs dangling. Huh, don't say bad things about your father, or you'll be punished. Are you going to punish me by not eating meat for 3 days? Good guy, you are all ready to answer, but unfortunately you got the answer wrong. What is that? I'll punish you by not eating meat for a year. Hiss. Su Kingxiu's eyes flashed with shock. No meat for a year. How tragic. And it's so perverted. Then Su Kingxiu looked at Suchanga, who had a smirk on his face, and felt that maybe her father could really do such a perverted thing. Perverted dad. Humph, by the way, when the ruins are opened, Dad will put on this bronze mask to see how the gods will react. Don't fail to recognize Dad then. Suchanga shook the bronze mask in his hand. Why bring this? Because this mask belongs to your mother. Don't we want to test your mother's background? Does this relic have something to do with my mother? Hiss, I spilled the beans. Suchanga was a little helpless. It's not a good thing for her daughter to be too smart. But it's okay to tell Su Kingxiu, and it's not some ancient secret. This relic was made by your mother 800,000 years ago. Inside it is a peerless skill book, the most suitable skill for Xiao Kingxiu. 800,000 years. Yes, your mother is an old monster. So how old are you? Dad. 22. Su Kingxiu's eyes flashed with confusion. Then the whole person froze. The pink and jade-shaped little face was full of confusion. My father is 22 years old and my mother has lived for at least 800,000 years. Damn it. The king of soft rice. Boss, you are the king of soft rice. Why? I warn you, don't slander Dad. Female junior, holding a gold brick. A 3,000-year-old girl ranked in the immortal class. Female college 800,000, good guy, Dad, you actually sold your body for strength. A black line flashed across Suchanga's forehead. I'm not. I don't. Don't talk nonsense.